That's right. That's the taste of a refreshing beverage and the sound of one, too. Welcome back to Sippin With Sin, the podcast where we talk about stuff and things and stuff that are important to all, to everyone. It's science. It's proven. You know, we tell you this every week. We don't have to keep rehashing it. It's facts. Just accept it. Just let it go into your life force. We have a jam-packed, fun-filled episode today. So, we're going to get right to it. Let's welcome back our esteemed colleague, the one, the only, Mr. Christian.
Everyone, we got a lot to say today, so I won't even do.
And so, those that are new, when he says a lot to say, he means a lot for him to bitch about.
Yes.
Essentially. I know it's coming. I know he's going to be bitching about something. So, this is what happens. That's what it should be. It should be bitching with Christian.
I mean, I've been shooting my shot for this idea for over a year now.
Oh, my God. Okay, so what we'd like to do to start every episode is talk about what we've been watching, reading, listening to, playing this past week. Do you want to start or do you want me to start? I guess you should probably start.
I'll start. Yeah, I'll start. So this week,
are you wearing a Goosebumps shirt for those watching on YouTube?
I am wearing a Goosebumps.
Okay, I like that.
This as a Christmas gift.
Dude, I want a Goosebumps shirt. I've been wanting one for a while.
This is the perfect one. It has the logo on it, nothing else. So
I fuck with Goosebumps. That was as a kid. God, dude, I used to go in on Goosebumps. That was my stuff.
Dude, remember the fucking Scholastic Book Fair?
Oh, dude, that was literally, it was the Goosebumps fair for me. I'd be like, I don't care about none of these other books. Just give me Goosebumps. Oh. And I'd come in and be like, Mom, look at this. And she's like, well, I'm not buying you more Goosebumps. Like, Mom, I need these books. Like, come on. I'm going to be dumb, Mom. Now, give me stuff to read.
I'm going to be dumb. Now that I'm an adult, I want to like go back and read a bunch of the Goosebumps stuff, but I like adult horror novels now. So, you know.
What age is it acceptable to read it to my son?
That is a good question. Maybe when he starts expressing interest, like when he's obviously, I would wait till he's like 6, 7 before I start reading stuff like that. Yeah, I mean it is, but he's not gonna pay attention until he's like 7 or 8 anyway. Just
I want you to know,
like you can try it early.
So you already know this, but kids get like weird obsessions. Like they get hooked on weird things. Mm-hmm. Like we were hooked on Batman hard. I told you we went through like all those episodes in like a short time period. The latest obsession is Hotel Transylvania.
Really?
Yeah, we have watched all 4 movies. I'm starting to recite the freaking movies, which I like them. I like the original one already. So, I mean, it's not the worst, but the fact that I'm having to watch him essentially on repeat because he'll just go blah, 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 and that means another one, and he'll get excited, and then he's engrossed in it. I'm like, bro, okay, can we have something besides blah, blah for a minute, please? But as a horror fan, I'm like, hey, he likes Hotel Transylvania. We're going in the right direction towards teaching the boy the way. This is the way.
Mm-hmm. So what I can say, like, if you're not, I mean, you seem to be already, but like reading to him just in general, that should just be general practice. Just
we read. He likes books.
But we'll jump into it. So this week I have been reading and watching a few in there in my free time. I was reading a book called In the Miso Soup. I think I talked about it briefly last week. This book here for the people watching the video on YouTube. But it's a Japanese book. I mean, it's not in Japanese, it's in English, but a Japanese author wrote the book In the Miso Soup. Ryu Murakami. I just see Ryu on the novel, but it's Murakami. But anyway, the novel, it's a horror novel. It's about a Japanese tour guide for the nightlife in Japan named Kenji, who takes on this client from America named Frank. And something's weird about Frank, really fucking weird. Kenji is very uncomfortable with him. Frank's face is very awkward. The way that he smiles, he doesn't seem real, like a real person. And some fuckery ensues. And it's a slow burn, I will say. Like it's a lot of lead up, but it's really, really, really well written. The book isn't long either. It's something. If you're a quick reader, you could read this thing in a couple days, if that. Very short book. But I really enjoyed this. Once you get to like the midpoint of the book, it starts ramping up and it doesn't stop until the end. And I really, really enjoyed the book. The ending left a little bit to be desired, but in a good way. For me, anyway, I like stories like that. So I really enjoyed this. The next book, which is by S.A. Barnes, and it's called Dead Silence. And this is like a ghost ship kind of sci-fi horror book. and I'm like chapter 6 or 7. Like chapter 7 is what I'm on right now, so I can't tell you if it's good or not. The build up to getting to this ship that disappeared like 25 years ago, like they just found the ship, and they're deciding whether or not to board the ship that has been lost all this time. The lead up to is nice. I enjoy the main character. She is I mean, there are some tropes about her character that I can definitely see right now, where she doesn't like to get close to people. She has a bunch of trauma from her past, and she likes this guy, but she's kind of a dick to him because she doesn't want him to get close. Like that kind of trope is there for sure. Annoying, but her in general as a character is actually pretty nice. She's the captain of the ship. It's her last mission with this crew. And right now, I'm enjoying it. Right now, I'm enjoying it. We'll see. Hopefully, next time we record, I will have finished the book or at least gotten a lot further into it, and I can tell you if it's good or not. Other than that, though, guys, I watched Lethal Weapon 1 actually last night. I just felt the need to watch Lethal Weapon 1. Um, and I mean, what can I say, man? If you're a fan of cheesy action movies, especially buddy cop movies, you can't go wrong with Lethal Weapon. Like, I love the first three movies. Number four is fine. It's not my favorite, but I believe from what I remember, number two was my favorite. And then after that, I put on while I was doing some artwork, I put on Predator 2 because it had Gary Busey and Danny Glover in it again. So I was watching Predator 2, and that movie's fucking hilarious. Like it's unintentionally hilarious. But aside from that, guys, I've been watching the show called Love and Death on HBO Max, and it's based on true events. I got to say that this show is awesome. It's fucking dope. It's got Elizabeth Olsen as the main character, and she is a tour de force, dude. I really, really enjoy what she's doing in this. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's episodic. Episodes come out once a week, kind of like Last of Us and Game of Thrones and all that. New episode actually just dropped last night, but if I watch it without my fiance, then I will probably not be someone's fiance again. So I'll wait for her before I watch it. And aside from that, we watched Scream 4 because she's never actually seen Scream 4. She's seen all the other ones, but never 4. So we ended up watching Scream 4, and she thought it was fine. She thought it was fine. She didn't have a whole lot to say. I think she liked the killer in that one a lot, but her favorite's still Billy from Scream 1, and I can't disagree with that. So that's what I've been doing this week, guys. What about you, Sin? What have you been up to?
Um. Okay. So I actually picked up a book. You'll be proud.
Ooh,
So hear me
shit.
out. I'm a huge Entourage fan, right? I love the movie, the show. We watch it yearly. We were getting cards and stuff, and the missus had to run into like a dollar store. And while we're in there, like we were just grabbing like little things, like little gift bags and whatever for the stuff. And I saw a bookshelf, and sticking out of the bookshelf was the gold standard. And I was like, wow, that's a thing from Entourage. Like that's what Ari always talks about, the agent from the show. And I picked it up, and it was Ari on the front cover, and I was like, the shit is this? So it's a book wrote, like Ari himself wrote, and it's like his character speaking and telling you about like him going to school and like his rules of business and all that stuff. So we got it. It was a whole $1.25. Could not get it. And she was like, I cannot believe you're getting that. I was like, hell yeah, I'm getting this. And I've been reading it. I'm like 5 chapters in, and it literally is like, as I'm reading it, I hear his voice talking. I hear Jeremy Piven talking to me. Like, it sounds like Ari, if that makes sense. Like, I just have that mindset while reading. So that's been fun. Other than that, I'm excited today to check out the Street Fighter 6 open beta. It goes on, time of recording this, the 19th through the 22nd, which I believe is Monday. I played the demo with the whole like open world thing, and then I'm excited to hopefully maybe play Christian in some matches in Street Fighter 6 and see what we think about it as far as like, you know, all the mechanics. And I think we looked up, there's 8 characters and like 6 stages, so I'm gonna get a nice little feel for the game. I'm excited to do that. And other than that, I watched a movie called Air, which is I believe it's a Prime exclusive.
Oh, the Michael Jordan movie?
Yeah. So it's got a really good cast. It's kind of what sold me on it. I was like, okay, so it's about Nike, obviously Air, and it's pretty much their pursuit of Michael Jordan. And I was like, okay, that's cool. I like sports movies and like documentary kind of stuff that kind of tells a story. The cast is really good. You have, is it Chris Tucker, I believe? Yeah, Chris Tucker, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Jason Bateman. Like, there's a solid cast. And I dug it. I watched it. I was into it. Good sports movie. It was interesting to see, like, the whole, pretty much how it changed the business and all that. If you like sports movies at all or anything like that, which obviously I know they took Hollywood liberties with parts for sure because that's what they're going to do. But essentially, the story and, like, I guess the money and, like, the deal and all that stuff, you know, it's cool to see, like, how all that went and what all went into it. But I checked that out. Check it out on Prime Video. It's pretty good. I dug it. Now, the other thing I watched, my loins have been burning for. Wait, what? Phrasing?
Ooh.
I know, right? No, the other thing I've watched this week, I have been waiting so long to watch. And it has just been building inside of me. Just, I need to see this. And it finally happened. It finally happened, Christian. I've seen Evil Dead Rise.
I can't wait to hear your thoughts.
Now, first and
on
foremost,
this movie.
I mentioned on the podcast before, my wife, bless her heart, was all big and bad about it until she finally saw a trailer and didn't finish the trailer, and she was like, oh, God, what am I about to watch? Like, is this going to scare me? So when I was like, it's time, she was like, oh, shit. Like, actual phrasing, I was like, it's time. Let's do this. Like, I'm so excited. Expectations were very high for this. From you, from other people I've talked to, from reviews, like everything set the bar really high. And I'm happy to say that it met the expectations. It was so damn good. So damn good. And watching her, especially for the first 80% of the movie, watching her pick up her phone because she didn't want to look at the screen or kind of squirm uncomfortably or move her cover because it was freaking her out was perfect. I love seeing people get that freaked out on horror movies. So obviously I'm desensitized. It didn't bother me. I was like, hell yeah. Like, I was getting into it. She's just like, and I'm like, yes. First and foremost, Alyssa Sutherland crushes it. She does so good. So many quotable lines from that movie. Mommy's with the maggots now. Like, so much good stuff is said in that movie that I'm like, yes.
That was in the trailer, but just
it's a good line.
Still was really good. Mommy's with the maggots now.
What's the one where she's looking through the peephole? It's like mommy and daddy. She said something. Just there's so much good stuff that they say, and the way they make her up with the contacts and with like the makeup and everything, it's so creepy. It's so good. Cronin crushed it. Lee Cronin, he did really good.
Yeah.
One thing that really stands out to me is the shots, the camera work, and the different types of shots. There's a bathtub scene where you're kind of the camera's like partially submerged, kind of. So it's kind of like looking up, but you're kind of under it's a weird shot, but it's really cool. The peephole, that's a really cool shot. There's just a ton of unique camera angles that are if you're an Evil Dead fan, they do weird camera angles and they do different things. So if you're a fan of that franchise in general, you're going to really dig it like I did. The intro, the start,
this movie
slapped.
Yeah. You talking about are you talking about the actual
lake
first scene of the movie, or are you talking about the title card?
You talking about the lake, like her coming up?
Yeah, the title card sequence.
Oh, where she comes up and Evil Dead Rise comes up. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
yeah. That whole thing. I was like, oh hell yeah, we're in it now. Like you've already got me. I'm not going anywhere.
We're in the shit, boys.
Yeah, I was. So her only complaint with the movie, it lived up to the hype for her too, was, and it's not a complaint. She said the ending got a little over the top. And she's like, but I understand that's what Evil Dead does. It goes over the top. Like, that's pretty much what's synonymous with this franchise. Like, you're going to get buckets and gallons of blood for no reason. And she said If you haven't watched the movie, don't listen. The creature was a little much. I was like, but it was cool because it was different. And she was like, yeah. She was like, it's just a little over the top, but it's Evil Dead. I understand that that's what's coming. I will say this though.
I love this. She's like, it's over the top. It's a little much, but she loves listening to Anakin complain about hating sand.
Yeah. So
I,
it is over the top.
That's my
like
favorite.
you have to admit, like it reminds me of Raimi. God, dude, I went blank for a minute. Like Drag Me to Hell stuff where like they have like excessive things they throw and you're just like, okay. But it is what it is.
With really quick, with the creature that you get in the third act of the film, it didn't bother me or freak me out or scare me or anything.
No.
It was gross, but I think it was gross because like everybody was just like so chill about it happening, and then the squelching noises that you hear when it's being formed, I was like, what the fuck? Because I'm eating popcorn like, ew.
It just to me, okay, I guess it's us though. I'm probably like your average moviegoer. They're gonna be like freaked out by that. But to me, the previous parts of the movie were creepier than the creature. To me.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. What I'm saying about the creature more so is just like the way that it moved around and then the way that it formed itself. I was just like, that's fucking gross. But I was in it.
No, it was cool. It gave me
totally
a Thing vibe. Kind of like.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. Very body horror for sure.
I will say this about
absolutely.
the demon. I guess, is that what we call it? Because it's not really deadites. It's like, it's just one demon, right?
Yeah, it was. I mean, but it's still a deadite. Yeah. It's just.
This one was probably the scariest one I've seen, just because the way they tell the story and listening to the priest or whatever from the record. Essentially, it's like, oh, well, dismember it, which Evil Dead movies, you dismember and all that. And then it's like, that doesn't work. It's like, your only hope is to run. And it's like, so essentially what you're saying is we're fucked. Like, there's no way around this. Like, you're not going to stop it. And then even at the end, you see you're not going to stop it. So I'm like, this demon fucking sucks. Like, there's no way. They
stopped it enough.
Do what?
They stopped it enough.
Not really. If they would have hung around, they would have gotten to somebody else.
The director Lee Cronin in an interview said that if he were going to make another movie,
he should.
He would only want to do it if the movie took place like literally like 2 minutes after the one that you just
picking
watched.
Up with like that character. Which also, that's a great full circle they do in the movie. And I'm trying not to give too many spoilers. I would like to really give spoilers, but it is still fairly new. But I do like the circle they do. I think they should. I would totally be on board with them picking up from where the movie ends and just, we already know what happens right after that, but like pick up from there and go. I would 100% be down with that.
Yeah, well, he's saying he would take it from her, like them going to a hospital and shit like that, and like what happens after that. And
are you talking about following the characters or following the?
Yes. No. The characters.
So following Beth. I had to think of her name.
Good old Aunt Beth.
Okay, so you made a comment. I think, did you make it on podcast or did you make it off podcast where essentially you said "fuck them kids"?
Yeah, I think I made that on the podcast.
Okay,
yeah.
So that rung in my head the whole time, and as the movie played out, I kept thinking the same thing. I was like, "Fuck these kids! I'm not done with this."
It's dude, right? Fuck them kids, dude.
I
like,
have
first
never.
off, you got fucking.
I was sending Danny to execution quick. I was like, "You're dumb. You did this shit."
Danny was like a combination of like Dennis the Menace and Justin Bieber, and I was just like, dude, get off the screen, shut up. Like as soon as you meet him, I was like, fuck that kid. As soon as you meet him on screen, I was like, fuck that kid. His sister, I was like, I kind of understand, but fuck that kid. The little girl, she was, I mean, I gave her the benefit of the doubt because she's like, what, fucking
she
7
had
at best.
Stabany, Steph Stabany, or whatever, and I was like, they're about to use Stabany to do some kind of cool shit, or whatever in the hell that baby doll steak was. Is it called Stabany? Is that what it was? Staffany.
Staffany.
Yeah.
Staffany.
Yeah,
like
staff.
A staff.
Well,
Staffany.
it turns into Stabany because that shit gets broke.
She evolved to Staffany.
So what was it? I guess it was probably like what 70% through the movie.
Yeah.
one of the deadites, we'll just say that without giving away, gets stabbed right through the mouth, and I'm like, they're not dead. When they come back, someone else like stabs them in was it the chest or the neck with a scissor? I'm like, you just stabbed them through the mouth and their head. You really think that little scissor is about to finish this? Hell no. Come on. Let's get creative, kids. Because they're like,
did you like the cheese grater?
One little stab. Also, did you get, God, it felt like Halloween. There's a scene where there's a blanket over a character, and they're kind of like in the background going. I was like, I love that. That's so good.
Yes. I absolutely enjoyed that. I love the homage and everything. How did you feel about the cheese grater?
I was actually about to bring that up. So you guys hyped that up, and I was expecting, maybe there's something wrong with me. I was expecting full-on brutality, like not just like one little, like, well, it's not little. It would have hurt like hell, and it would have been awful. Not one grade. I was expecting like some weird, like freaking grading a whole block of cheese.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I wanted to say the last time we talked about it before you had seen it, but I didn't want to ruin
It's a little overhyped for that part.
Evil Dead Rise. I love that movie. As far as like just the goriness and the general scariness, I like Evil Dead 2013 more. And I didn't want to say that on the last podcast because I didn't want to ruin the hype for you. Because here's the thing. With Evil Dead Rise, I was just like legit for the whole movie. I was like, fuck them kids. This story is really cool. I like this. I can't wait to see these people get fucking wrecked.
The Necronomicon, the way they read the words is cool and different for this one. I did like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and you see what I was saying about like the different books,
yes.
You know, like they all look different in their own way, like also, little subtle differences.
One more thing about fuck them kids. How stupid can you be if you find a damn tomb and you're like, oh, there's a token. I'm going to take this little gold coin. Yay. And then you're like, oh, look at all this. Oh, here's a book. Let me just take it. Oh, it stabbed the shit out of me because its teeth sticking out of it. Put the damn book up. Don't be dumb. Why would you, if you see it's going to stab me, why would you mess with it? Come on.
That's a good thing to say. Don't be dumb. And a lot of people don't follow that.
But then again,
advice.
It's horror movies and people do dumb stuff. Maybe I would like to think if that's me in the situation and I see a book, I'm like, that book looks dope. That shit's going to stab me. I'm not touching it because that's some bad juju shit coming.
It was before even that. Wasn't it wrapped up, right?
Yes,
it was wrapped
in a
up,
tomb.
Correct?
Like buried, or it was in like well, not a tomb. It was in a vault in like sarcophagus. What am I trying to say? It's not a casket.
Sarcophagus.
Yeah. It was in that. Like, how about we leave that shit alone?
But I'll say before on, I'll say this. Like, I really, really, really liked Evil Dead Rise. Don't get me wrong. I think it's fantastic. Evil Dead 2013 had more of the horror elements that I was looking for in an Evil Dead movie of that nature. And what I mean is, like, it was less silly. It took itself a lot more seriously. You had the montage scenes, like you have in this one still, but you had the montage scenes that you needed. You had the chainsaw, like in this one as well, that you needed. So that was there. But when it came to general gross goriness, what I was looking for, I got in Evil Dead 2013. So I really, really enjoy that. Like that Evil Dead 2013 is something I showed to my fiance, and she was like, I fucking hate you for showing this movie to me. I'm never going to sleep again. I feel like if I show her Evil Dead Rise, she's not going to sleep well for a couple. After that couple of days, she'll be okay. But Evil Dead though, it's just, yeah, you're fucking somebody up for life. Especially people who are not into horror, like you and I are into horror. You show them that one, and they're like, I really can't stand your guts. But you show them Evil Dead Rise, and it's like, yeah, it's gross and it's gritty and it's graphic, but like they'll get over it. You know what I mean? But I just wanted to know before we move on to the next thing we're gonna talk about. What would you rank this 1 to 10? What would you give this movie?
So I fully intend on rewatching it again multiple times. I think the last
this is going to be a once a year film for me. Every spooky season.
Easy.
I'm definitely.
I'll watch it again before spooky season for sure. I mean, it's an hour and a half. It's not a super long film. It's easy to take in. I think Evil Dead franchise is going in a great direction. Honestly, hopefully, I like what they're doing. You can expand it. It's doing great. I would say off the top of my head right now, easily an 8.5.
Yeah, I agree.
Potentially, it could potentially go to a 9. I really, really dug this. I think for me, which I haven't seen 2013 in several years at this point, I want to rewatch it now, especially after watching this, just to refresh everything. But
of course.
Right now, Rise for me probably I like more than 2013, just because Rise. I don't know. I really like I said, the first 3/4 of the movie, the spookiness of it, and the mom. The mom, like I said, Ellie is awesome. She's so good. She's damn annoying. You know what? Like, if there was a demon running around after me, climbing in vents and shit, no. Like, come on. Also, what about her getting blasted with a shotgun and goes flying? Like, there were so many like funny scenes through the peephole that I was like, God, it was good.
Yeah,
it was
the
really good.
shotgun. I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming because they telegraphed the shit out of it earlier in the movie. So I was like, Chekhov shot, definitely gonna have that. But when it happened, I was like, yes.
Beth wearing the
like,
shotgun
it was
with like the strap. I was like, there we go. We got some Ash vibes going. There was a lot of nods to previous Evil Deads throughout the movie and different things that happened that I really dug. Also, the glass scene sucked. Watching the glass in the throat, I was like, oh, that. Whew. You ever had like a sore throat or like strep throat? I was like, that's what it feels like. That's looked awful. Yeah.
This movie made some money, and I'm really glad that it got a theatrical release because it was meant to come out on HBO Max.
Props to them for that, by the way. Whoever made that decision to go from just an HBO release to a theater release, you got yourself a raise, because it, as of right now, what I'm seeing, it made $132.9 million in the box office for something that wasn't going to be a theatrical release. So,
exactly.
Good job.
All right. Well, with that said, dude, I guess we could move on to the next category because we'll talk about Evil Dead all day.
We can. God, I'm ready to watch again. All right, next category. So, last week we spent a lot of time talking about a teaser that come out. And, no one really knew when we would find out more about the teaser, but damn if we didn't find out yesterday. Yesterday, NetherRealm released the official announcement trailer for Mortal Kombat 1. And I did a reaction of it. I will say this right away. The visuals, obviously it's next gen with PS5, Xbox Series X, all that stuff. God, the visuals and the graphics look stunning. Like, it looks so beautiful. The trailer was awesome. The fatalities looked good. So pretty much, quick summary of it. It is taking place after the events of MK11, and I'm assuming the Aftermath DLC, where you have Liu Kang as the god, essentially taking Raiden's spot, and it is Liu Kang fixing the timelines to be a more peaceful timeline, so it's kind of resetting back to 1. So I don't really know what that means story-wise. We'll see. But in the trailer, you see Liu Kang, you see Raiden, you see Kung Lao, you see Scorpion and Sub-Zero, you see Katana and Mileena, and you see Shang Tsung, right? Is that everybody you see in the trailer? I think. Am I missing somebody? I feel like I'm missing somebody.
That's all you see in the trailer. Yeah.
Which they also put Johnny Cage is going to be in it. That was on there. I read that on their YouTube video at the bottom and said confirmed, like, Johnny Cage. And I guess they confirmed that because apparently one of the packs you're going to get a Jean-Claude Van Damme Johnny Cage outfit or something. They also announced it's coming out September 19th. So not far away. And we just talked about Street Fighter, Tekken 8, or is it 8? I think Tekken 8 is supposed to come out this year, and if so, it is 2023 is the year of the fighter. So those that like fighting games, get ready. And I personally am all for it. I know the time of recording this, NetherRealm is actually doing a community chat. I don't know how long it'll be or what they'll talk about. I'm assuming they'll just talk about release and the trailer and brief details, and probably set up their next, what are they? They're not called, are they called Fightcast? They have a name for them usually.
Kombat
Cast, yeah. And it's like Tyler Lansdowne, sometimes Ed Boon, Derek, I can't remember his last name. Like, there's several developers and like people that come on, and essentially they'll talk about characters, modes.
What's the woman's name who's on there who kind of gives us the breakdown of characters?
Tyler Lansdowne?
I can't remember. No, there's a woman on there.
Oh, the woman. I don't know. I don't remember the woman's name.
Dang it!
I remember Derek is Derek. His name starts with a K, and he's always think it's him and Tyler that usually fight for the belt or whatever they do. They'll play like the characters of the week or the episode.
Mm-hmm.
But they've already showed like the pre-order stuff. And while we're talking about why Christian's looking it up, so the characters I announced are the ones that are confirmed thus far. There are heavy rumors, and I actually screenshotted this. Rumors are going to be running rampant right now, so take it with a grain of salt. But pretty much what they're saying is Amazon Italy apparently messed up and it leaked stuff. One new feature in this game is cameo fighters, which assist you in battle. So you can, and they were kind of playing into that with like Scorpion and Sub-Zero not fighting each other, and they were kind of like looking like they worked together. So we'll see where all that goes. But they said they're not excluded cameo fighters from the fighting roster. Johnny Cage, Tremor, Chameleon, Movado, and Farah who are supposedly coming for the first wave of DLC to the cameo. And the additional fighters, which they confirmed, I think 6 fighters for the first wave of DLC will be added. Supposedly it will be Quan Chi, Ermac, Takahashi, and Takeda. But then they're rumoring Omni-Man, Homelander, and Peacemaker as DLC characters. So we will see. That's more than 6. So I don't know. The Omni-Man I hadn't heard before. That was a new rumor. But again, grain of salt. We don't know. Like all these rumors running around. But yeah, Christian, what do you think about it? I know you're about to start bitching. I can already tell. For you, bitch, let me remind you that this is not a reboot. This is not MK1. This is actually what you wanted in a continuation of 11, because Liu Kang is now the god. So essentially you have the Raiden timeline, which would be 9 through 11, correct? Because they rebooted in 9. Mm-hmm. Essentially 9 was like 1 starting over. Mm-hmm. Right? So you have the Raiden timeline. Now you're going to have the Liu Kang timeline. Here we go. So get ready, listeners. Soapbox is being slid out now.
What do you want to start? What do you want to start with? I mean, there's plenty of stuff.
I don't know. What do you think?
I could talk about.
Go for it.
I got thoughts.
Well, let's hear your
thoughts.
I'll
just start with this. I'll start with this. Watching the trailer itself, I thought that it was really good. I didn't have any problems with it. I thought it was awesome. I noticed a bunch of things right away. I watched the trailer 4 or 5 times after the fact. But the first time I watched it, I immediately noticed a few things. And we'll just jump right into them. I noticed that if you listen to what Liu Kang, Fire God Liu Kang, if you listen to what he's saying when the trailer starts, they give you a lot of information about the game. They let you know that there's some kind of tag team mode, because he talks about fighting together as one, as brothers, when Scorpion and Sub-Zero show up. I noticed, speaking of that scene in general, when you're watching it, you will notice that Sub-Zero does not have a scar on his face.
Which means
so I immediately thought, well, that's not Bi-Han, that's Kuai Liang, because he doesn't have a scar. So it's the first Sub-Zero, is what I was thinking. And I was like, why would they do that? That doesn't make any sense.
Wait, isn't that backwards? Isn't Bi-Han the first Sub-Zero? Because isn't that who Noob turns into?
I'm sorry. Yeah, Bi-Han is the first Sub-Zero.
So that's Bi-Han then, right?
Sub-Zero, sorry.
So we get no Noob
that's what I meant.
Saibot this time then. Probably.
Essentially, if that's to be believed, because after you get to the end of the trailer and it's Mortal Kombat 1 and not 12, I was like, okay. So, but I'll get to that. I'll lead up to that. I'll lead up to that. So, I noticed the tag team kind of things. Obviously, you get Liu Kang, you get Sub-Zero, like you said, you get Scorpion, Katana, Melina, Kung Lao, Raiden, Shang Tsung in the trailer. And they mentioned Johnny Cage later. And you get Shang if you pre-order the game, of course. The pre-order starts at the time of this recording. Pre-orders start today. So I thought that was really cool that you can pre-order it today, because trailer came out yesterday at the time of this recording. So that's really cool. But there are things that I didn't like. One.
Well, hold on. A couple things in the trailer I've seen people point out. Someone said that Raiden is wearing Shinnok's medallion, which I haven't went back and looked at it. I saw someone talking about that, and there's like a still of it. And then another thing is Scorpion's pendant is I'm drawing a blank. Sub-Zero Lin Kuei. I think he's wearing Lin
Mhm.
Kuei stuff or something, or like they're in the same clan or something. Like, there's some differences, which I haven't like fully went scene by scene to like dissect everything, but
I haven't went to dissect anything either because I was more interested in looking up what they didn't tell us in the trailer, what we didn't see. So I looked up the pre-order bonuses. Of course, it's the same as it always is for Mortal Kombat games. You get the regular pre-order for just the game, and with that, you get standard edition of the game. Then you get the premium edition of the game, which has the combat pack, Johnny Cage skin, which is John Claude Van Damme, like you just said, and then you get early access to 6 playable characters, and I think you were talking about them, but they mentioned something in the pre-order bonuses that I wanted to bring up. Cameo fighters. You have cameo fighters that are available during launch and then post-launch. For those of you who don't know what that means, post-launch means after the
when
game is
DLC and
launched,
stuff
which
will
is
come
like
out.
DLC. Mhm. Uh, the beta is September. Early access is September 14th. I think the game comes out the
19th,
19th.
yeah.
I might be wrong on
No,
that.
September 19th release.
Okay.
You're right.
So you could pre-order it May 19th. It comes out September 19th. So yeah. And then they have in-game currency, which in this game it's called Dragon Crystals. So you get like 1,200 Dragon Crystals, right? If you get the premium edition. Then you got the $250 collector's
What
edition
was the
that you can
currency in
reserve.
11? There was a currency in that too. Was it just Dragon coins or something?
It was like time crystals or some
Yeah.
shit, I
So I
think.
mean, that's nothing new. The currency, it'll do whatever.
Yeah. So that's sorry for the yawn. That's making me think that in the game you'll have to go to some kind of crypt and like we always do,
Yeah.
and you'll be able to upgrade your characters,
Right.
blah 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 blah. So we're par for the course. In the collector's edition, you get all the same shit. You get a Liu Kang inspired character skin for in game. I don't know what that means because it says Liu Kang inspired character skin, so I don't really know what that means.
Mm.
You get a Liu Kang statue that's like 16 inches, 16 and a half inches. You get a steel case, and you get the exclusive prints, which I did that for the last game for Mortal Kombat 11. I still have the steel case, and I got a Johnny Cage print, which I still have. I love that. And then in this one, you get early access to the beta, like they said before, but you also get an additional 1,450 Dragon Crystals. So in total, you get 2,700 crystals, right? Or 2,700 crystals. So if you want the maximum stuff, you got to go with the $250 collector's edition because that's what steel case. Which collectors like me, I want the fucking steel case. Give me the steel case. I want the prints, even if they're garbage. I hope they're not. And you get the maximum dragon crystals with that, which I'm gonna want because obviously dragon crystals are in-game currency. Here's the problem though. First actual bitch cameo fighters. I'm not excited about that because in my head, what that means is we're going to get characters that we want to play as that we really want to see in this game, and they're only going to be cameo fighters, which means in my brain, before seeing it, cameo fighters are like characters that you can add on with your character that come out and do like a special move or something. So for an
Essentially,
example,
Marvel versus Capcom,
if yeah, for
but you
sure.
don't
So like
control them. Probably.
let's say you really want to play like Sector, right? Or Cyrax. You
Which
really want to play
before
fucking
before you
Cyrax
go
because
too
I
deep,
love
they
Cyrax. I want to
have
play him.
cameos can also be playable characters, but not all of them will be playable characters, is what I understand. Correct? Like for example, Johnny Cage is playable, but can also be a cameo. But there may
Mhm.
be some like you said, Sector that you may not play, but can only be your cameo character for whatever team you build.
That's exactly what I
Okay.
was going to get into. So if you have cameo characters that are playable, that aren't playable, whatever, what's the difference, right? So I'm thinking, to me, just from past experiences with games of this nature, if you have a Johnny Cage that's playable, that's awesome. We'll have, I'm assuming, what we expect to see: Johnny Cage, younger, sunglasses, his typical shit on. He may or may not have the Johnny tattoo. I'm gonna assume he's not gonna have the Johnny tattoo just because if we're starting over, he wouldn't have it. But then if you want to play as the cameo Johnny Cage. Maybe that's the John Claude Van Damme Johnny Cage. Maybe that's the tattooed Johnny. Maybe that's an older Johnny who is more adept with his powers, right? Like that's what I'm thinking. Maybe if, as for an example, if there's a cameo version of Liu Kang, right? Maybe you play as Fire God Liu Kang and cameo Liu Kang is regular Liu Kang. Maybe if you want to play as a cameo version of Sub Zero, then that's how you play Kuai Liang, and you play Bihan for the entire game, not Kuai Liang. You know, and their move sets are different. I don't know if like people who really play Mortal Kombat know this. Like they both have the ice ball and the slide and shit, but like Bihan didn't have the fucking ice clone. That was something that Kuai Liang had. So if that's how they're going to do that in the games, like that's not something I'm super excited about because I want to play the characters. I want to be able to choose that character and play it. Like it doesn't have to be the biggest roster we've ever seen, like Mortal
Isn't
Kombat
that the
Armageddon
rumor?
style.
Like it's supposed to be the biggest
I'm
roster?
I'm trying I'm trying really hard not to pay too much credence to all the rumors
I hope
because
it's the. I mean, if it's a
there's so
massive
many.
roster, dude. Yes.
But that in lies the problem that I'm speaking to currently. I don't give a shit to have a huge roster if that means half of the roster is cameo
Fair.
characters that we don't actually get to play. That's the point. So that's why this is such a bitch for me because if that's the case, we don't know this to be true.
No.
I am speculating
Yeah.
like everybody else on the internet. But if that's the case, that's going to put a really bad taste in my mouth on the jump. Is it going to be so bad to where I'm not going to play the game? I'm going to pre-order it. I'm going to get the
Yeah. I mean,
biggest edition I can get.
he's gonna bitch, but we're both
I'm going
gonna
to
play
do
it.
all the
Like
things.
the only way I don't think
Yeah, I'm
either
going to
one
play
of
the
us
shit out
will
of the game.
buy it and play it is if gameplay comes out and this looks like Parappa the Rapper trying to fight a box or something. Like it just looks absolutely shitty. And I with NetherRealm, I don't expect them to like make it bad. Like they've been on fire, so yeah.
What I expect them to do is exactly what they. When Mortal Kombat 11 came out, the gameplay once the beta dropped, the gameplay was completely different from all the other Mortal Kombats. Doing combos, doing not X-rays, but the enhanced moves. So, like for an
Yeah.
example, if you're Liu Kang and you shoot a fireball or a bicycle kick and you enhance that move, the bicycle kick is longer. The fireball
Right.
is double the power. You shoot two of them, like that kind of
Yeah.
thing. They changed all of that shit. It was completely different. People complained, people bitch, people were not excited about it, were not happy about it at all, and they changed it before the game released. So like the weeks leading to the game coming out, they completely scrapped that and they changed it to the normal play style that we would be used to for these types of games. And everybody was happy with it. We all loved Mortal Kombat. A shit ton of money. Like here we are. So I expect them to try some shit out at the beginning. When we get this beta, they're gonna try so much shit, and we will essentially dictate with our wallets if that's some shit that we want to deal with. So, for an example, if all of the cameo fighters are the roster, and that's why this roster is big, and everybody bitches, everybody complains, and we use our wallets to tell them that that's not what we want, then they will make a change. However, I'm only speculating. I don't know this to be true. I don't know that the game's going to come out and all the cameo fighters can't actually use. I don't know if the move list is going to be weird and different. I don't know if Bihan or Kuai Liang are going to be they could be fucking with us. I don't know. Just from one trailer and reading what it says on literally any Mortal Kombat website ever, that's what I'm getting from it, and that's not where I want to be. And also, really quick to answer a question I had earlier, the woman that I was talking about, her name's Stephanie Brownback. That's who I was talking about.
Okay.
She was one of the hosts with Tyler Lonsdale and Derek when they did all the combat
Gotcha.
cast. And yes, Stephanie is trans woman. I forget what her name used to be. It doesn't matter. But Stephanie was dope. I loved every time she came on and showed us the characters, gave us insight, told us what the combos were going to be and all that shit. Like, I really hope that they
I like the
do
NetherRealm does
combat
that
cast again this year.
personally. I enjoy
Yeah.
those casts. I like seeing the stuff, and it also builds the hype. And you kind of see like, for me, I'm looking at characters like that may be my main. Like I actually dig how they're playing. Like I dig that combo string stuff like that. So I really love that marketing strategy with NetherRealm personally.
Yeah, man. And with that, to continue that, I was just saying, like, I really hope that they do Combat Cast. I really hope, but I really hope he that's exactly what she did last time, which is come in and show us the inner workings of the characters. This is how you get a couple of combos. This is how this character. This is a setup character. This is an aggressive character. This is a range character. You know, like I really hope that she comes back and does that because, like you were saying, that's how I started to figure out who I wanted my
Right.
main to be. I knew because of Stephanie and how she would do the combat cast and then playing the game. Knew it before the game came out. I was like, all right, Johnny Cage, obviously, uh, Shao Kahn, and who was the other one I wanted to use all the time? I can't remember right now. Maybe Liu Kang. I want to say like those are going to be my main characters, and that's pretty much what happened. I wanted to try out Sub Zero. I don't really like Sub Zero, but he wasn't my favorite in Mortal Kombat 11. Like I liked him, but Sub Zero changes game to
Yes, he
game,
does.
and sometimes he's
Sometimes he's not
amazing.
as good.
Sometimes
He's too
just
slow,
okay.
or just like
Yeah,
his moves aren't. To me, they're not as fluid as like maybe a previous game.
yeah. They definitely they slowed him down a lot in Mortal Kombat 11, and that was my favorite. The last time I remember Sub Zero being like my fucking main character was probably Mortal Kombat 9. I want to say MK9 was the last time that he was like, um, and then in that one you had like Smoke and shit, and I really liked Smoke for a little while, but then everybody used Smoke as in teleport and blah blah blah. But anyway, back to this. Everybody that they showed in the trailer, I'm expecting to be a main roster character,
Yeah.
right? So I would be fucking pissed if they were like, by the way, Melina's a cameo fighter. I would be so pissed if that was the only way that we could get her.
I don't think so. They
So like,
confirmed those as
give me
playable, right? Like every one of them.
they. I mean, they didn't confirm anybody is playable. They just confirmed them on the
Yeah, they
roster.
did. They
So
confirmed playables. They haven't confirmed cameos.
did they?
Yeah.
I don't remember them saying
what?
that.
How many
Where
is
did you
it?
see that?
7? No, how many is it? Sub Zero, Scorpion, Melina.
It's technically 8.
8 with Shang
That we
Tsung.
saw in the trailer.
Yeah, those are all playables confirmed. I'm pretty sure that's what I saw like on the thing.
Like I didn't see that at all. I didn't see playable characters. These are confirmed playable. I didn't see that. That's why I said that. I knew that Johnny Cage was confirmed because he was one of the characters that they talked about heavily in the literature. If you watch the trailer and go to the website or their Twitter or whatever, and then if you go to their pre-order bonuses, then you can tell that he's going to be playable. You can tell that Shang Tsung's going to be playable, but I didn't see them confirming other characters. It was like a soft confirm, sure, but I didn't see them saying like, yeah, you can absolutely play as Melina, you can absolutely play as, like, I didn't see that list. So if they said that, then I'm wrong. I just didn't see it. I didn't read it for myself. um but you know, that was like, that was the main bitch that I had, was that, like, I can bitch about some other things, but like, if I'm being honest, that was like the thing that was like, you know, I'm listening to it and I'm making like the gasp. I was like, cameo fighters. What does that mean? Does that mean that they're only side characters? Does that mean that they're only going to be available to play like in this mode? Like we can't actually use them and use combos and blah blah blah. So that freaks me out. That scares me as a fighting game fan. And I also don't want to, like, this is the same thing that they did with the last one. We know that you get a combat pack. We know that with the combat pack you get playable characters, you get cameo players. Like we know that because they told us this. I don't want to pay essentially $350 for a bunch of DLC characters that I don't get to use, that I don't get to master myself. I'm going to be so fucking pissed if I spend $250 on this game plus whatever they're going to charge me for each combat pack DLC to get new characters, and those characters are cameos and not playable characters. So that was my complete. Everybody that plays games, that spends money on games, is really sick of the DLC model of
I
gaming
wonder if
now,
they
and
address
I'm
that
one of those
today in
people.
the cast. I feel like
I'm
they're
hoping
probably
so.
gonna like get in front
I'm
of and be
hoping
like,
so.
hey, this is this, like, you know, because I feel like NetherRealm does have a good
I'm gonna look
grasp
them
on
up.
community stuff. Like they stay on top of it pretty well.
Yeah, and you said that they're gonna be on like Twitch, I guess.
Yeah, I don't. I know
for
Twitch, they'll be on, I think it's at twitch.tv/NetherRealm, which if you're listening now, it's already happened. And hopefully they'll have scheduled another one. But
it's
yeah,
already happened or it's happening now.
well, if you're listening to the podcast now, it's already happened.
Okay.
But for us, while recording, it's about to happen.
Hello. I actually, so at the time of this recording, right now, in day, past for listeners, I just went to NetherRealm's Twitch, and it looks like they're just playing the trailer.
Yeah, they're probably starting it up, and they're gonna get into it. As soon as we finish up here, I'm going to watch it. Like, I'm gonna go get into it because I need to know. I want to know stuff. Mortal Kombat's one of my favorite franchises, so obviously I'm
same.
I gotta go check it out. I'm curious about Cameo too. As soon as I heard Cameo, the first thing that came to mind was Mortal Kombat, but in Marvel vs. Capcom, you can play your team. My understanding of the way I'm thinking of it is when they have like the tag matches on towers and you get like an assist. And so I'm thinking they'll just jump in and do moves or something. I don't know how you'll set that up.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking it'll be like a CPU assisted character hopping in to help you. I don't think you can control them.
I don't want that to happen. We'll see though.
Yeah, that's what went to my mind.
Now,
I was like, that's what they're doing is like that tag assist thing they do in the towers is essentially what I'm thinking of. And I was like, I don't know. That's
not the case.
We'll see.
I hope that's not the case. I know that Tyler and Ed Boon are the people doing the cast and see them currently on my computer screen. I can't hear what they're saying. Obviously, it's muted, but they're talking. So,
Christian broke everything. This is what happens. Christian's over here breaking stuff. You gotta leave it to Christian. But yeah, I think the Cameo as a collective whole has everybody kind of, I'm not going to say like concerned, but that is definitely one thing that's sticking out for everybody because I don't know how that's going to work. It's definitely going to be different, but Mortal Kombat likes to add, NetherRealm to be specific, likes to add something different each iteration of the game. From MK9 to MK10, Injustice 1 to Injustice 2, they added gear, they did this, they did that. Different ways with like combat and stuff like that. This one got x-rays, so forth. Like, they like to add everything. So this is just them adding something new. We'll see how it goes. But I do think a collective whole, as far as social media, everyone's excited, but everyone is a little hesitant because of Cameo until we have more information on how the Cameo system and stuff works. Because it is something new and it is something different. And we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out, though. But yeah. And Christian, are you back from breaking stuff? I don't hear Christian, so he really broke stuff. All right. So Christian is very silent because he broke all the things, apparently. All the things are broken from Christian. Good job, Christian. Hello? Oh, we can't hear him. We do not hear you, Christian. You have no... we see you, but we don't hear you. Christian's breaking stuff. Leave it to Christian. Okay, so Combat Cast or Community Chat or whatever they're calling today is happening. We should hopefully find out more information. They'll be talking about the trailer, I'm sure, and probably pre-orders, probably all that stuff. Hopefully we get more information on some of the features. There's a lot of modes. Supposedly the story is supposed to be crazy and winding, and I mean the stories are usually pretty good in the Mortal Kombat games. NetherRealm does a good, or Injustice, like NetherRealm does a really good job with a story mode in a fighting game, which is weird to say, and most people are like, I don't play a fighting game for story mode, but NetherRealm actually makes it where you want to play the story mode. So I'm excited for the continuation of that and see where it goes and what happens. And yeah, we may have to do a podcast fight nights. I'm probably gonna do some on my stream anyways with the community, so we may have to set up some podcast ones if you're a fan of Sippin With Sin and you want to come throw down and watch me show Christian who his daddy is, then come join us and, probably can maybe make us our daddies. I don't know. Wording. But yeah, so while Christian figures out the technical issues, let's see if are you back yet?
Back in there.
There we go. He fixed it. All right, but I think that pretty much wraps up our Mortal Kombat unless you have anything else.
I mean, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'm optimistic, but I am also
hesitant,
afraid, and hopefully we'll get some...
I think that's the general consensus,
though. We'll get some clarification.
Everyone's excited. New Mortal Kombat.
I'm still going to get the game.
I do know that out of the fighter announcements, I think Mortal Kombat had 1 million plus, almost maybe doubled like Street Fighter, which was ahead of Tekken as far as like views, and they did that within 24 hours. But that just shows how big the Mortal Kombat fan base is. So
That's true.
Everyone's hesitant on the cameo, I think, is the main thing, and then we'll see though. We'll see what NetherRealm says. Like we don't know yet. So I'm sure we'll talk about it probably next week as we have more information to dive into if they give it to us today. Or as Combat Casts happen or news gets released, I'm sure me and Christian will dive in and give our thoughts on it. But MK1 coming September 19th. I'm excited for that. And that means it's time for us to
pass the whiskey.
That's right. It's last call time, ladies and gentlemen. Get your
Whiskey!
As we go in. And Christian, I believe you have the question for us today, sir.
I do. My question of the day is, what single character are you most looking forward to being on the main roster for Mortal Kombat 1?
I like how you phrase that main roster and everything. First off, I want to give us credit because we're actually staying on task and on time today, so I think we deserve a freaking round of applause for being on it today and not going too far off the beaten path. For me, first name that pops into my mind, you're going to be like, really? Kenshi. I want him. Give him back to me. I didn't have him last game. Give him back.
Okay. All right. I mean, honestly, that's a great.
I personally love him. He's one of my favorite characters. What was it? He was in 9 and 10, right? In the recent ones.
Mm-hmm.
He was in my main rotation in both games. Probably my main in 10. I freaking love him. So him. Do you just want like that, like characters from the roster, or are you saying like throwing out a wild like DLC character?
No. Just like a main character that you want to see
Kenshi.
On the main roster. That's not a DLC. Like you don't have to buy this character; they are in the game.
Kenshi for sure. Obviously the ninjas are cool. You know, Rain, Smoke, whatever. Reptile, old school Reptile, like not the Reptile, like mutant looking Reptile, but like the ninja looking Reptile would be pretty dope. But I'm going to say Kenshi for me. What about you?
One of my all-time favorite Mortal Kombat characters I want back in this game, not as DLC, but on the main roster, and that is Nightwolf. Nightwolf, I need him in the game. Don't fuck with me. Don't make him DLC. Don't make me have to buy him like I did last time. Just give me Nightwolf. I need him in the game.
Okay. I was trying to think who else. Who haven't we had in a while? Striker? Striker hadn't been around in a while. Isn't it Striker or is it Strider?
I'm not a Striker fan, so like I could take it or leave it.
I'm trying to think who else
like
is there.
If I'm I want characters like, obviously you mentioned the ninjas. I want Cyrax. I want Ermac back in the game.
Ermac would be dope. Except when H plays as him, then it's not fun because H will do you dirty with Ermac. I remember. I remember those days. Who else? I would
love for Quan Chi to be back.
Who?
Quan Chi.
Yeah, Quan Chi. I do like Quan Chi. He's a dope character. I was trying to think. I don't know.
I would like to see a human Frost back in the game. I would love that.
That'd be cool.
I really, really liked Frost in Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. Like I hated that she was a cyber ninja in the last game. I never used her because I hated her combo set. But I love the character of Frost. So I would really
fair
morality change. I would love for her to be a good character instead of evil. I would love that. I don't think it's going to happen. But if you can give me I would buy Frost. Like she's one of those characters that if they brought her back in human form, I would 100% pay for her. I don't give a shit. Like give me Frost back. I love that character so much. Okay. So that would be awesome. I really enjoyed Scarlet in the last game, so I wouldn't mind having her back. Because we're going back to 1, I don't assume that we'll have like Cassie back in the game, but Sonya better be a fucking playable character in this game.
I don't really know, because if the rumor's true about Takeda coming back, I don't really know. I don't know how they're resetting the timeline. Like, is everyone that was in the old one coming back? Like, I don't know what they're doing. Wait, did anybody die that was in that was shown? Kung Lao's alive, Raiden's alive. All of them were alive in 11, right?
Technically, most of them. Well,
who died in 11? Kano?
A couple people died, but we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens.
Okay. But, yeah. All right, good question. Kenshi for me, though. God, if they give me him, I'm happy. Oh, I'll be so
If
stoked.
they give me a Nightwolf, I'm happy. So
I'll
I
be so
understand
stoked.
completely.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, that's going to do it for this episode. We have just hit the hour mark, so it is time that we wrap it up. But as always, if you'd like to have your question featured in the last call section of the podcast, be sure to go to the Gilded server, gilded.gg/Sinister Pack. And in the application put from the podcast, there's a whole section dedicated just to last call questions. Submit it there. Get it featured in an episode. You can also submit your Sinister tales so we can talk about spooky stuff and things that either happened to you or you found on the internet. And we can have that on the episode as well. There's episode chat. There is suggestions. There's all kinds of stuff. Give us feedback. Let us know what you think about Mortal Kombat 1. Or just chat with us on there. It's a great place to hang out. There's also stuff for my community, for the streaming community over there as well. So be sure to check it out. You can find us on social media and DM us there your last call question or feedback from Mortal Kombat over at Sippin With Sin, Sippin with Sin on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And then you can find new episodes every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Central Time, Spotify, Apple, Google, Overcast, Anchor.fm. Everywhere podcasts are available pretty much. 8 a.m. Wednesdays, Central Time. Okay? Rate it 5 stars. Share it with a friend. Subscribe, follow, whatever it is on that platform. Show it love. It helps us a ton. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it. And definitely share it with people. Let's spread the word about it. Continue to grow. We may do, like we said, whenever the games drop, we may do like a Sippin With Sin night where we join you guys and maybe get in there and like just have a King of the Hill lobby or something and do some fight nights or something for fun to interact with you all. Maybe a good time. But hit us up with the DMs. Let us know what you think about the Mortal Kombat 1 trailer. Let me know about Evil Dead Rise if you watched it. Hit us up on the socials and stuff like that. You can find the video version of the podcast on YouTube, youtube.com/IamSinister. It's my personal YouTube. Go thumbs up the video version. It comes out every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Central Time also. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can find me on my socials at IamSinister TV on Instagram and Twitter. You can also find me streaming on kick.com/IamSinister. You can find me on twitch.tv/IamSinisterTV and TikTok at IamSinisterTV. You can hear my thoughts on Mortal Kombat. Also on there, I've made a couple videos that will be going up about different Mortal Kombat rumors and such and stuff and things. But Christian, where can the lovely folks find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram at VinAndInc, all one.
Oh, Christian, you cut out? You there? Oh, no. Vin and Ink, all one word, on Instagram. And I believe his TikTok is just his name. I think he cut out having some technical issues. Storms and stuff are messing up everything, it appears. But I think you can find Christian on his TikTok at just his name, Christian Vincent. Let me see. I think that's right. But yeah, technical issues. Gotta love it. It's been stormy and stuff here around these parts, so I guess that is causing havoc with his connection. But you can find him there because popularity to belief he doesn't like social media. But that's going to do it for this episode. We appreciate you all listening. Thanks for hanging out. You don't have to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here. It's time for us to shut it down until next week. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to leave you with the 3 most important words Christian tells you every week, and that is, don't get gutted. See you guys next week.